Russia-Ukraine war live. Russia will never follow path of self-isolation, says Putin. Russia-Ukraine war has entered day 114 and earlier leaders of France, Germany and Italy arrived in Kyiv to meet with Volodymyr Zelenskyy. Ukraine's defense minister said that he hopes the number of people who died since the beginning of the conflict is below 100,000. Russia will never follow path of self-isolation, Putin. Russian President Vladimir Putin during his speech at the SPIEF 2022 plenary session said that Russia will never follow the path of self-isolation, and that the economic blitzkrieg against Russia will have no chance of succeeding. Russia, he said, is able to significantly increase the export of food and fertilizers. The volume of grain supplies may increase next season to 50 million. It is necessary to ensure the development of the economy based on private business, and continue to relieve administrative burdens, said Putin. The Russian economy will keep the principles of openness in its development, said Russian President. Putin says sovereignty in 21st century cannot be partial, fragmentary. Sovereignty in the 21st century cannot be partial or fragmentary, said Russian President Vladimir. All its elements are equally important, they reinforce, complement each other. Therefore, it is important for us not only to defend our political sovereignty and national identity, but also to strengthen everything that determines the economic independence of the country. Moscow's financial, personnel, technological independence is integral, the President of Russia said during the plenary session of the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. Putin asserts Russian military's special operation in Ukraine will be completed. Russia's President Vladimir Putin on Friday said that his armed forces' special military operation in Ukraine will certainly be completed. He slammed the Western sanctions imposed on Russia, which he described are built around the false thesis that the Russian economy is not sovereign. Lavrov accuses West of open blackmail for its own geopolitical ambitions. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, in an interview with the NTV network, accused the West of attempting to attain its strategic goal and ready to hurt its own citizens for the sake of its geopolitical. He slammed the barrage of sanctions imposed on the Russian Federation. West is forcing all others to act likewise through open blackmail, threats, ultimatums and other lowbrow methods and moves, Lavrov. I hope that along with politicians who irresponsibly demand to supply Ukraine with whatever it wants, there are military people who realize what is at stake and understand the risks involved, Russia's foreign minister told NTV Network. According to Lavrov, Moscow has a goal to become one of the poles of a multipolar world, unlike the West's agenda to assert the global hegemony. We are just stating an objective reality. This world is developing objectively, all by itself. All the current labors of the West are aimed at containing this objective historical process, said Russian Foreign Minister. Putin warns West, world will not be same as before. Russia's President Putin accused the United States, that he said declared victory in the Cold War, has assumed itself as messenger of God. Colleagues in the West try to counteract the course of history, think in categories of the last century, remain in illusions and do not want to notice the changes. It will not be the same as before, said President of the Russian Federation. Putin accuses United States of stealing other people's money. The United States can steal other people's money anytime they don't like something. This is an objective analysis, Russia's President Vladimir Putin said while addressing St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. Putin stresses era of unipolar world has ended, quips US steals others' money. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday stressed that the era of unipolar world dominated by the West has ended despite attempts to preserve it at any cost. Our partners in the West have deliberately undermined international foundations due to their geopolitical illusions, said Russia's leader. He added, that the business reputation and trust in international currencies such as dollar have been thoroughly undermined and that basic economic principles are under attack. Russia's president was referring to the looming global inflation highest in 40 years and U.S. Federal Reserve unable to prevent crashing of the stock markets, while the top economists predict the recession by late 2024. Gloomy forecasts for the Russian economy, sounded in early spring, did not materialize, said Putin. Russian ruble recently hit 3-week highs against the US dollar and euros despite the volatile trading as it soared despite recent interest rate cuts and an economic crisis as well as sanctions. Ruble spiked by 1.8% against the euros, becoming best performing currency in the world. We need to be extremely honest in assessing the situation in the economy and believe in our strength. We can cope with any challenges and solve any problem, warned Russian President. The economic blitzkrieg against Russia initially had no chance of success, he reiterated, adding that inflation in some Eurozone countries is already above 20%. Putin derides U.S. Cold War mentality, asserts confidence in international currency undermined. Russia's President Vladimir Putin during an address at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum accused the United States' Cold War mentality. Whilst U.S. declared a victory in the Cold War, it declared itself messenger of God. Putin slammed. He then went on to add that the confidence of the countries worldwide in dollar as currency of the globe has been undermined and West's outdated geopolitical illusions have been exposed. Colleagues in the West try to counteract the course of history, think in categories of the last century, remain in illusions and do not want to notice the changes. It will not be the same as before, asserted Putin. The sanctions against the Russian Federation are insane and thoughtless. Their purpose is to crush the Russian economy, he added. EU leaders dancing to someone else's tune, lost sovereignty, says Putin. The EU has lost political sovereignty and its leaders have long been dancing to someone else's tune. Russia's President Vladimir Putin said on Friday as he addressed plenary session of the 25th St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. Ukraine scraps visa-free travel for Russians effective July 1. Ukraine is scrapping the visa-free travel for the Russians, Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal reportedly said. On his Telegram channel, President Zelenskyy stated that the change is being introduced in order to counteract the unprecedented threats to the national security, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. The new rule will be effective July 1. Ukraine's Foreign Legion fighters carry out combat missions in Severodonetsk. Official advisor and a former deputy minister at the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Ukraine, Anton Gashenko, on Friday shared the footage of International Legion fighters carry out combat missions in Ukraine's hottest war zone city of Severodonetsk. Putin addresses plenary session of SPIEF 2022 in St. Petersburg. Russia's President Vladimir Putin addresses the International Economic Forum, SPIEF. The annual forum brings together the heads of international organizations, well-known public figures, leading academics, experts, and the media. It has been held since 1997. President of Kazakhstan Kassym-Jomart Tokayev and President of Egypt Abdel Fattah el-Sisi will also attend the session. President of the People's Republic of China Xi Jinping will participate with a video message. 2023 Eurovision Song Contest won't be held in Ukraine, but in UK. 2023 Eurovision Song Contest cannot be held in Ukraine due to the war, the European Broadcasting Union has announced. The event will instead be hosted in the UK instead, it said. Ukraine neutralizes Russia's extensive FSB intelligence network. Ukraine's security service, SBU, has claimed that it has neutralized extensive, Russian, FSB intelligence network that had allegedly been spying on Ukrainian troops and passing on to the Russian. Ukraine's SBU arrested 19 Russian agents that collected critical information such as electronic maps, crowd locations, critical infrastructure and Ukrainian military units, across Kyiv, Kharkiv, Odessa, and Zaporizhia, said the intelligence agency. Russia slams US for blaming it for food crisis. Let us cooperate. Russia's ambassador Anatoly Antonov on June 17 slammed the United States for fabricating accusations that have nothing to do with reality against Russia, blaming it for global food crisis. Our country is imputed with trying to take steps aimed at deliberately degrading global food security, preventing Ukrainian agricultural exports by sea, and blocking the sowing campaign in that country, said Antonov in a piece published in National. It's time to put an end to these speculations, he asserted. If Washington really wants to improve the situation in the global agricultural market, let us cooperate, Russian ambassador urged. Russia cited United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, and the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, saying that there is currently no physical shortage of food but only Russia has been asking Ukrainian forces to demean the maritime routes in the Black Sea. Prices started to increase and then skyrocketed by 50% by this February, said Antonov. This was worse than pandemic and a lack of investment. Western states made mistakes and miscalculations in their economic and energy policies, Russia's ambassador Anatoly Antonov asserted. According to Russian ambassador, the situation has been complicated by the Western-led campaign to forcefully accelerate the transition by the international community from traditional energy sources to renewable. Russia has absolutely nothing to do with the price hikes, asserted Antonov.